With a former WWE star arrested and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Explaining WWE's decision to pre-tape future NXT shows, Ringside News wrote, according to Dave Meltzer's insights in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the decision to pre-tape the episode stems from tryouts taking place in Perth, Australia. With key NXT personnel attending these tryouts, including talent and production crew, it necessitates the temporary departure from live programming. As WWE gears up for the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event in Perth, NXT will resume its live shows on February 27th. For an update on how things have been backstage in All Elite Wrestling, Dave Meltzer said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that a couple of people have noted that the morale has really picked up and is the best in some time, even if the rating this week was universally disappointing for such a loaded show that was promoted as the biggest Dynamite of the year. Mentioning a return to WWE for an injured star, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said that Damage Control filmed WrestleMania graphics without Kai. For what it's worth, Kai should be returning relatively soon. Following his release from WWE, Shelton Benjamin is set to take on Josh Alexander for Prestige Wrestling's Alive or Just Breathing event. This will be on Thursday, May 16th, 2024 in Los Angeles, with tickets available next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Touching on the status of Chris Jericho in AEW, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, I think he's the highest paid guy in the company. He is the highest paid guy in the company. And it's like you really want to protect that investment if you're paying a guy that much money. I mean, you can get anyone to put over these guys. It's like you need to have him lose when the losses mean you know again, but it's great for Takeshita. Touching on a possible matchup at WrestleMania 40 against Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title, Becky Lynch said this to Denise Salcedo. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to take that title. Where it is sitting happily on her shoulder, not being threatened very much because she avoids it at all costs. Whether we'll attack somebody before the bell or maybe she'll have little Dom Dom interfere, but there is an interesting thing there though, because two of her little gang, I've known them for 21 years, so you gotta ask, when it comes down to it, and it will come down to it, which side are they going to be on? But really for me, more than anything, it is taking that title and making it relevant again. Man, she's been walking around with it. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. You don't do anything. You don't defend it. You just walk around holding it like it's a little trophy. She has all the potential and all the goods. She's got a natural finesse, but I have a scrappiness and heart and passion, and I don't think she can compete with. I want our champion to have heart and to care. Because the question is that title not represented because Rhea doesn't care, or is she lazy? Revealing his disappointment in not being able to face CM Punk at WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins told Denise Salcedo, one of us is a fragile old man, one of us is a young stallion, so I'll be back in a couple of weeks. He'll be back in a year or two till his next injury. I'd love to kick the crap out of them. I'm sure he'd like to get in there and do something to me, but it's not going to work. Am I disappointed? I'd say a little bit, only because if we had an opportunity to do it, stomping his head into the mat would be the best at WrestleMania, in front of the biggest audience. A little bummed about that. I feel like he's talking about the greatest comeback of all time. I'd be happy to stomp out that comeback when the time comes. With WWE gaining a ton of publicity with The Rock's involvement in the program with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, many wondered if this was done to divert attention from the Vince McMahon scandal. As the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, it became a meme that they went to Rock to distract from the Vince McMahon story. And it does seem that it worked, because in social media, the outrage over McMahon pretty much ended and became outrage against The Rock and the company. It's kind of sick when you think about it, but if the idea as a way to divert attention, it did work. Following the WWE press conference, it looks as though we could be getting an unexpected match, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter said. The press conference also ended with the idea of a Reigns and Rock versus Rhodes and Rollins tag team match, which could be done on day one at Mania. Rock ended up going heel on Rhodes, slapping him in the face after an argument about families and siding with Reigns. Rollins was out there at the time and ended up backing up Rhodes. When it comes to what could be next for World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted, the belief is that Rollins will defend against the winner of the men's chamber match on that same show, but such a match has not been announced, and it couldn't be announced since the tease was Rhodes versus Rollins, and announcing the match doesn't make sense until this coming week. As Vince McMahon and WWE are facing a sex trafficking lawsuit, the late former WWE star Ashley Massaro had an unreleased statement which accused McMahon of predatory behavior, with Ringside News writing, following Ashley Massaro's tragic passing in 2019, an affidavit was publicly available where she claimed that WWE helped cover up that she was sexually assaulted at a military base in 2007. At the time, WWE issued a statement denying any wrongdoing. Tim Marchman of Vice News uncovered a statement excluded from Ashley Massaro's finalized affidavit in her lawsuit against Vince McMahon. It wasn't relevant given that the lawsuit was about concussions. Erica Mirabella, Massaro's representative, explained it was omitted to focus on sexual assault and injuries. The statement details Massaro's discomfort after her Playboy cover, Vince's attempt to be alone in his hotel room, and him writing damaging promos to ruin her career. It also mentions Vince's inappropriate comments. The statement was removed from the affidavit but provides insight into Vince's alleged misconduct. Our colleagues ultimately decided we should focus only on the sexual assault and physical in-ring injuries Ashley sustained. So I discussed this with Ashley and she agreed that we could remove it, so it was deleted. We then finalized the affidavit, she signed it, and we submitted it to the court. You can check out Ashley Massaro's previously unpublished statement below, which accuses McMahon of being a sexual predator and how he tried to sabotage her WWE career. During my time with the WWE, I had observed Vince McMahon making out with other divas in the locker room, but he never paid attention to me and I assumed I was not his type. This changed after my Playboy cover was released. I was fortunate enough to be allowed to fly on the company jet and stay at the same hotels as the executives for a period of time so that I could get home faster to spend more time with my daughter. On one of these occasions, Vince was attempting to get me alone with him in his hotel room late at night, and I felt extraordinarily uncomfortable. He began calling the hotel room phone and my cell phone non-stop. I called Kevin Dunn to explain the situation, and he said I should tell Vince I was not feeling well and would see him on TV the next day, so I did. Immediately after that night, Vince started writing my promos for me. Vince does not write promos for female wrestlers. That is the job of the creative department, and he certainly wouldn't have under any normal circumstances written a promo for me, but he did, and the promos were written with the clear intention of ruining my career. I brought the first script Vince wrote for me to the WWE employee in charge of creative at the time, Michael Hayes, and he said, "You're not saying this. Who wrote this?" And I told him that Vince did. He said, "Well, kid, these are the breaks," meaning that Vince wanted to end my career and destroy my reputation on my way out. He is known for this type of behavior and also did this to Redacted upon her departure from WWE. In addition, after that night, each time I walked by him, he would make vulgar sexual comments that were clearly designed to make me uncomfortable. Going over a pro wrestler that has been taken into custody, Ringside News wrote that former WWE star Billy Jack Haynes has been arrested following a tragic incident involving the shooting of his wife. The world of professional wrestling harbors harsh realities unbeknownst to many, and sadly, these truths can persist even after leaving the ring. Recently, former professional wrestler Billy Jack Haynes found himself in a tragic situation, as reports from Coin reveal his arrest following the shooting of his wife. In the Lynch neighborhood of Portland, police responded to a fatal shooting at 6000 Southeast 100th Avenue, prompting a shelter-in-place order for residents. Upon arrival, officers encountered a non-cooperative individual potentially armed inside the premises. After negotiation, a tactical team convinced the man to surrender, leading to his apprehension. Tragically, a woman was found deceased within the home, sparking a police investigation. While the identities of those involved remain undisclosed in the initial report, Jim Valley of the Wrestling Observer has revealed that the identity of the wrestler is none other than former WWE superstar Billy Jack Haynes. Neighbors also speculated that the couple involved in the incident may include a former wrestler. He was telling me all kinds of stories about old wrestling, and I told him how I used to go watch him, neighbor Steve Odery said. I decided to go for a walk when I saw all the cops down by my house, Steve Odery, a nearby neighbor, said, and I just then noticed all the blocks taped off, and I just came down here. Speaking about the success of Honor Club, AEW President Tony Khan told the KNC Masterpiece, Ring of Honor, we have a great streaming service. They were operating a streaming service when I purchased the company Honor Club. We've built it up and now it's at the all-time high, higher than even when they put the MSG show on it. We've built it up and grown the subscriber base, which is amazing because we killed it completely, shut it down, started from scratch, and built it back up with the great wrestling we're doing. Giving his thoughts on Goldberg, who he called out for a match in AEW, former WWE star Matt Riddle said this on Insight with Chris Van Vliet. I'm just not a huge fan of his work. I'm not a huge fan of his wrestling style. I think he's great at drawing money. I think he's great at sports entertaining. I think he's an awesome action star. I saw him playing Santa Claus in a horror movie. I told him all this. When it comes to drawing and making money, which honestly, this is what the business is about, he does it probably better, and he could still do it better than 90% of the people who do it today. I do respect Bill because he came up and said something. Reacting to the allegations against Vince McMahon, Bret Hart said this to Slate. When you get that vision in your head, you go, that's messed up. It's too sick and disgusting to really imagine. I don't think this is the only incident of this kind of predatory behavior. I think you'll find that it's everywhere. It's like Jeffrey Dahmer, Harvey Weinstein, or Jeffrey Epstein. Vince will be a joke. He'll be used for humor, and you'll shake your head at the shock value of some joke about what did Vince McMahon do? He'll always be associated with this story, especially as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I think despite all the issues I ever had with Vince, I know deep down I always respected him, but now, knowing what kind of a weirdo he became, I have absolutely zero respect for him. Touching on her time on the sidelines away from programming, Liv Morgan said this on WWE's The Bump. Obviously, I suffered a very severe injury, and Natty and TJ were nice enough and kind enough to open the dungeon to me, to kind of get back to where I want to be, get me back to where I need to be, to fine-tune, to really hone in, to rebuild and regrow. And so I can't say enough good things about the dungeon and what Natty and TJ are doing for wrestling as a whole. You'll never learn it all. There's infinite things where you'll never know it all, but I want to know it all so bad. We have some things in our pocket, but we're going to keep it a little bit close, because also I learned in my time off that you can't show all your hands. You can't show all your cards. Going over a new deal that WWE has signed, Ringside News wrote new details have emerged concerning WWE's collaboration to debut the upcoming WWE Speed Series exclusively on X. During the WrestleMania 40 kickoff press conference, WWE disclosed a partnership with X to launch a series of short matches slated to premiere in spring 2024. According to a recent report from The Hollywood Reporter, this agreement spans 2 years and mirrors the format of WWE's flagship programs such as WWE Raw, WWE NXT, and WWE Friday Night SmackDown. The report affirms that WWE Speed matches will air weekly throughout the year, totaling 52 weeks on the popular social media platform. Moreover, the matches are said to be platform exclusive, diverging from repurposed content from other WWE broadcasts. The show is anticipated to showcase a diverse array of WWE wrestlers from across all brands. Filming for WWE Speed commenced towards the end of 2023, with the inaugural bouts captured during the December 15th SmackDown taping. Notable performers like Bronson Reed, Axiom, among others, were featured in these early matches, hinting at the breadth of talent to be highlighted in the series. Taking to X, Drew McIntyre gave his thoughts on the press conference event to promote WrestleMania 40.
Shall we talk about that press conference then? Rock, Roman, Cody. Was Seth there? I can't remember. No, he was there. Now before I get to Seth, and I will get to Seth, let's talk about Cody. Well done. You finally found your balls and made the right call. Good for you. You just took some McIntyre truth bombs and beating your arse on Monday for playing games with everybody, but you go and finish that story, kid. Congratulations. Now, our World Heavyweight Champion. He came out on the stage, danced, said a whole bunch of nothing, and then stood by the side as the others talked down to him, talked down about the title, talked down about our locker room. This man's not the leader you think he is. I would never let anyone, not Cody, not The Rock, certainly not Roman, talk about my title in that way. Have some pride, mate. Pay attention. It's clear more than ever Raw needs a change. It's clear Seth isn't up to the job mentally as well as physically now. Pat McAfee even called Seth the bloody forgotten name in all of this at the start of the presser. Come on, man. People have forgot his name because he's allowed it, played the clown, and he's been overshadowed. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Last night was a bunch of chosen ones when the original chosen one was left at home. I hope you're all seeing now that I'm the only person in this place who's been telling you the truth the entire time. The only one that's actually stuck by my convictions. And there's a lot of moving parts going on right now, a lot of possible roads, but they all lead to the same destination at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre, World Heavyweight Champion.
Speaking of that press conference, Eric Bischoff gave his thoughts on it, saying on his 83 Weeks podcast, yep, Bischoff said, agreeing that Reigns was second fiddle to his cousin. He did get lost in the shadow. There's no question about it. I don't know how that he wouldn't in this scenario, given everything that has led up to this press conference. What we saw on Friday, Cody Rhodes stepping aside for The Rock. What we saw on Monday, fans turning against The Rock, the awkwardness of all of that. As he has been absent from WWE programming since May, Dexter Lumis posted this to Instagram. Doing what you love is ultra important, but don't pat yourself on the back too hard for it. Results come best from doing what you must, not what you want. Champions often want to do what they must. If you can align those two by studying what's optimal in your case and learning to love it, you have an edge. With it previously revealed that TNA Wrestling fired president of the company Scott D'Amore, this was said regarding a point of contention between D'Amore and the parent company Anthem. As the Wrestling Observer newsletter stated, in one case it was noted that they had an agreement with Adam Scherr, aka Braun Strowman, to debut at Bound for Glory in 2021, with him billing the show as Braun for Glory, but that Anthem felt his asking price was too high and didn't believe he would boost business enough to have the deal make sense. Taking to social media, CM Punk posted a video of him rehabbing after having surgery for a torn triceps. In an update on a former WWE star's legal troubles, Ringside News writes that a bench warrant has been issued for the arrest of Edward "Teddy" Hart Ennis after he failed to appear in court in Titusville, Florida regarding his arrest on July 15, 2023 on charges of possession of MDMA, ecstasy, and possession of controlled substance without a prescription. These charges are third-degree felonies in Florida. The court date listed as a mandatory appearance for early resolution was intended to offer plea deals to those arrested to prevent felony trials. Despite several delays initiated by Hart's side, the hearing proceeded as scheduled, but Hart failed to appear, resulting in the issuance of a bench warrant. Additionally, the court revoked Hart's $2,000 bond. The arrest stemmed from an incident on July 14, 2023, when Officer Eduardo Gonzalez observed Hart's vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed and failing to stop at a steady red light. Upon conducting a traffic stop, Officer Gonzalez detected the odor of burnt marijuana and discovered loose leaf marijuana in the vehicle. Subsequent searches revealed MDMA pills and powder, as well as anabolic steroids, leading to Hart's arrest on the aforementioned charges. Notably, Hart had wrestled his first match in 3 years in Florida on the evening of his arrest. However, he has not wrestled since then. For a WWE contract update on World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, it was said that Rollins confirmed that his contract is up this year, as Fightful Select reported, but said that he believes a deal will get done and that he's been very proud to work with WWE. Even though he closed WrestleMania as champion 1 year, he still has a goal of being advertised for a main event of WrestleMania. He discussed his roller coaster of emotions regarding his injury and potential WrestleMania opponents. When he sustained his knee injury, he knew it was something, but didn't think it was a torn ACL. He said that he's working to get healthy as soon as he can and wants to be ready for Mania. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.